There are some lies in our science books. Taught it for 15 years. Even though I'm not teaching it anymore, I still like to study. It's so many neat things to learn. We're going to cover some of that tonight.
Perception is being managed. We are being steered and guided by a hidden hand.
The whole world has been duped by the media that is not real.
Smart thinking, possible time traveler, smart thinking.
That night, boom, contact memory.
And then just, Alex, if you don't agree, you'll be sent to a re-education camp.
Just because I'm old doesn't mean I've lost my touch with the ladies.
A lot of people here tonight felt like they lost. You know why?
Now, experts are suggesting that we're in a golden age of shape-shifting reptilian sightings. Now, why is that?
I was, and still am, a huge conspiracy guy. I literally ran out of new tin hat topics to research.
It was most definitely not capable of melting steel.
Then I would be a crackpot if I thought that was the case.
Thought that was the code.
Welcome to the Hypothetical Institute, a podcast about conspiracies.
My name is Skyboy Luke.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just thinking...
It's my Space Force rank.
I was just thinking Commanders would be fine.
Ah, Skyboy.
Okay. I'm Skyman Salty.
Yeah, Skyfella Cam. Why do you make it weird? All right.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about the moon.
That's why we gave ourselves Space Force ranks.
Yeah. It's 50 years since man first stepped foot on that dusty alabaster orb.
So we have talked about the moon before.
Several times.
Mostly about moon landing, though.
And fakery. We concluded that the moon landing happened.
Mm-hmm. Lots of evidence.
Yeah, there was a lot of... there's been a lot of moon chat in this last week, obviously, around the traps, and a lot of people re-prosecuting the old moon landing hoax conspiracy. Before we go any further, though, we would like to thank our Patreon supporters, but especially Tammy, our cooked $33 sponsor.
Thanks, Tammy.
Thank you.
I did see... one of my favourites was on Russia Today. I was not expecting it to be debunking the moon landing hoax.
Debunking the hoax. Yep, okay.
Because, Russia Today, they do get a little bit kooky sometimes. But they had a thing about the moon landing, and their point was if the Americans had faked the moon landing, Russia Today is where you bloody hear about it.
Yeah.
And they had like a quote from a cosmonaut. He's like, nah, we were watching it with our super powerful Russian telescopes.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
We watched them walking around up there. So
no way. Let's look at it.
I thought they didn't have Nikon P900s back then.
Cosmonaut, much cooler name than astronaut.
So much better.
Just want to get that one out there.
Yeah.
So
they should have just gone with that.
Yeah.
America should have.
Yeah.
Astronaut.
Astro by itself is pretty good.
Yeah. Astro Boy.
Yeah.
Great.
Skyboy. Astro Boy's
less great.
Powerful friend.
Yeah. Do you think astronaut just seems less cool than cosmonaut because astronauts are like so clean cut?
They are nerds, aren't they?
Yeah, they're nerdy military men.
Yeah, like you've got to be a super nerd to be an astronaut.
Their beds are all like tucked in.
Although Buzz Aldrin's fucking cutting a bit loose, isn't he? Just punching guys out and stuff.
But not at the time.
Yeah.
So like these cosmonauts like smoking cigarettes in space.
Sending monkeys up with them. Madness.
I bet you the first thing to fucking jack off in space was that monkey.
Well, I'm toast now.
Anyway,
this is going to be a mature chat about things related to the moon that aren't moon landing.
Yes.
All the like photos that have come out that are like been restored and look fucking schmick. Surely that's fueled the fire of people going, look how fucking clean that looks.
Yeah, I think I've seen that.
How did they get photos that good?
I think yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Photos of the moon up until now have been just photos, right? But these ones look fucking super HD and super
They've had
clean.
some pretty good high def ones over the years.
Well, I think they've just they've gone back to the negatives, right?
Yeah,
'Cause I saw
the
the-
negatives that survived their bloody way through the fucking Van Allen belt.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Anyway, we're not doing moon landing. We've done this already.
That was one of the things I saw about on the RT thing as well, though. They had these like restored photos. And because there's like one photo that has a C on a rock. Like the letter C is written on this rock. And they're like, that was a bit careless of them to just leave like the prop numbers written down on things.
Give me rock C.
But it's got, in the restored photos, it's gone because, you know, that little hair or whatever that was on the film wasn't there.
Been cleaned off.
So, not talking
Anyway,
about
we're
the
not
moon
talking about
landing.
the moon landing.
No.
Go back to whatever episode
I guess
it was.
obviously it's something that comes up whenever you're going to talk about the moon anyway. So
Yeah.
And there is the question of why we haven't been back.
We have been back.
Yeah,
they're
but
back
not
a bunch-
recently.
a bunch
China
of
went
times.
back recently with
What
a
is-
probe, but not a person. But as we concluded and talked about in depth last time we did this, there's no reason to go back.
Why?
Because we've been there, we've seen it.
Have we got all of the moon rocks that we need?
I think we've got enough.
Fine.
And like we can just send, like China did send a probe up there and just do the computations.
If they brought back a whole bunch more moon rock, as if a little bit of moon rock wouldn't end up going into those fucking little orgone stone things.
Oh yeah,
How bloody more powerful would that make them?
that's probably why they haven't been bringing them back.
Yeah.
It's just they don't want to rest the orgone stone. Yeah.
So we all set out to find out something about the moon that we didn't know.
Yeah.
Robbo, why don't you kick us off?
Well, I think a good place to start is probably the creation of the moon.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of conspiracies about people saying they don't know when the moon was created. Apparently, the moon is older than the Earth, but the main theory of how the moon was created was another planet that used to be in our solar system smushed into the Earth,
Right.
and created a debris thing which formed the moon.
A perfectly round spherical bit of debris.
Yeah, well, like it joined together, and as it was,
Right.
you know,
Spinning.
and yeah. So, but then people are like, if it's older than Earth, that couldn't have happened. I don't know.
So
Cam, what do you have on this?
But right. So the thing is, the moon's supposed to be around for billions of years or whatever, right? Which makes me wonder how it is that people, some of our top scientists, like Democritus, just the guy that came up with democracy.
Whoa.
Bit egotistical though, naming it after himself.
Anaxagoras, the guy that came up with anaphylaxis.
And axolotls.
Aristotle.
Got a quote for Aristotle?
No, nothing.
Aristocracy.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Apollonius, literally the guy that we named the Apollo missions after, probably.
Yeah.
All of these people.
Not the god Apollo.
No. Apollonius of Rhodes, so the ultimate Rhodes scholar.
Yeah.
Plutarch. All of these blokes wrote way back in the day that there were people that were around before the moon. Little pre-lunar civilizations. So this is all according to a guy called Velikovsky, Immanuel Velikovsky, who's a Russian scientist.
Scientist in inverted commas there.
But he did do a lot of study, and he wrote a book, a manuscript, and this is from the chapter "The Earth Without the Moon." And he notes that all of these people way back in the day refer to civilizations that were pre-lunar. So Arcadia in Greece was one, and they were called the Proselines, that is before Selene and before the moon.
Oh.
What about the people who lived next to them though? Were they not? They had the moon?
No. So these people were around before any moon people were around.
Right.
Lucian.
So they were the only people on the planet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only civilization.
Right.
Lucian, in his book Astrology, which is like, that's a pretty old book, if you can call it astrology. That's like the first astrology book there is.
Yeah.
He says the Arcadians affirm in their folly that they are older than the moon. Which seems like a little... Is that an insult? So he's saying
Their folly?
So he's saying they're full of shit?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if it's folly, though.
Censorinus also alludes to the time in the past when there was no moon in the sky. This is the guy that censorship is named after, possibly.
So you can't fucking trust that guy.
Yeah. Guy's a narc. He's the king of narcs.
In Job 25:5, they refer to a time before there was a moon and it did not shine. In Psalm 72:5, it is said, "Thou wast feared." I don't know, you can just say was. "Thou wast feared since the time of the sun and before the time of the moon, a generation of generations." Which means a very long time.
So, are they saying that there's no moon, Earth was populated in some way with human civilization? Sorry, Pickle?
Because like I've had enough of your shit.
And then the planet smashed into Earth, killed them, and wiped out any knowledge of them except for like 6 people in Greece.
6 of the most famous like Grecians of all time. So the theories, according to Velikovsky, the theories about the origin of the moon are either that it came from the same material as the Earth, or that it was formed somewhere else and arrived here where it got caught in our orbit.
Right.
Or that it was originally part of the terrestrial crust and was torn out, leaving behind the bed of the Pacific. Which he says, clearly not the first one. It must be one of those other 2. But Velikovsky belongs to a field of study they call the catastrophists.
Right.
Where they take a different view from sort of mainstream geological historians.
Right.
Which is that rather than sort of things just slowly happening and like erosion and like mountains slowly forming with tectonic plates moving and things, they say there's been all of these disasters and natural huge catastrophes over time that you see get turned into legends through cultural amnesia.
Okay.
So stuff like the Tower of Babel story is referring to like some major natural disaster, and like the flood from the Bible is a real major natural disaster. And so at some point the moon has been created and it's just sort of been forgotten when that's happened, but there's been some huge thing. I don't know why they're so keen on everything blowing up all the time. It's sort of a very Roland Emmerich view of history.
What if the meteor that come and killed all the dinosaurs threw up a moon-sized bit of the Earth, it flung out kind of far, and by the time it come back around and caught in our orbit again, society had developed. So or maybe when that hit the Earth and threw all shit up into the atmosphere, we were shrouded in clouds for fucking millennia, and then one day the clouds kind of dissipated, and the people that had come about were like, "Holy shit! Look, where'd that come from?
What's that thing?" So 2 other things about Velikovsky. He also has this thing that the moon used to be a lot brighter. So there's a bunch of references in like the Bible and other sort of ancient texts, and also like Babylonian texts as well. Oh, and there's ancient South American references to people from before the moon as well. So both sides of the planet. Just saying. But there's all these references too to the moon being much brighter, like being as bright as the sun.
Right.
Which, I don't know.
I mean, years of industrial development though, like and light pollution. You look outside in Melbourne at the sky and you see a few stars, but you go out to like the middle of nowhere and it's like, whoa.
And wouldn't you also be like, if you're some like ancient dickhead and you're looking at the sun in the daytime and then you look at the moon at nighttime when it's dark, you'd be like, oh yeah, these are about the same.
Yeah.
These are both quite bright.
Light pollution.
No, I'm talking about in ancient times.
Wait,
you go, wow, the moon's really bright. Well, fuck, the sun's bright too. They're both really bright.
Ancient people were stupid enough that they looked at the sun and the moon and thought they were equally as bright. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, the sun's quite bright, yes.
Yep, good.
But it does. But it's daytime, so I mean, it's not that bright.
If you look at the sky next to the sun and then the sun, it's like bright. If you look at the sky next to the moon, you go,
that's quite dark.
That's quite dark.
It's quite dark out, except the moon is illuminating everything.
Bright.
The moon's got a much bigger job to do than the sun.
Right.
Which only has to light up everything that's already quite well lit.
Quite well lit because it's daytime.
I think the ancient dickheads, as you referred to them as, understood at least somewhat of the concept of night and day.
Yeah, sure, righto. The other thing about Velikovsky, though, is he got, like, slammed when he came out with this stuff. Just maybe fair enough. But like, he got in the 50s and 60s, he was like completely blackballed. He went over to America and started putting out pamphlets and things. And I know he gave the wrong pamphlet to the wrong guy, and he just got blackballed for 20 years.
So the Russian scientist that was handing out pamphlets in the 50s and 60s wasn't well received in the United States.
No, but then in the 70s...
Shocking.
I don't know, they must have forgotten that blackballed him. He became incredibly popular.
Oh, okay.
Packed out lecture halls.
All the drugs that were taken at that point.
Then in the 80s, he was wandering around going, "Where are the nuclear vessels?" And everyone got sus again. Sorry, Star Trek joke.
So there's some coincidences around the formation of the moon and the size of the moon. The fact that I think it's proportionate to like an eclipse, it's the right size to block out the sun perfectly. It's kind of the ratio of distances or whatever. There's maths behind it. Apparently that's a bit of a coincidence, which to be fair, it's pretty interesting.
It is a pretty massive coincidence that it is exactly that size.
Yeah. The Earth turns 366 times around each orbit of the sun, and is 366% the measurement of the moon at the polar circumferences. The moon orbits Earth 366 times every 10,000 days. 366 comes up a lot on that one. I feel like they've chosen 10,000 days pretty arbitrarily, though.
And also, isn't it like that 366 very sort of wobbly number?
Yeah, it is. We have to keep adjusting it every now and then.
Every 4 years.
But like, if you were, say, a construction man or woman, and you were building something across these distances, you're going to get a little bit out. You're going to a little bit of a margin of error there. Even when building bridges, they need to put in some rubber just because it flexes and moves.
That's because if you're a fallible human.
Yeah, look at the pyramids, mate. They're fucking so precise.
Like
within thousands of millimeters.
Yeah, but they're not lunar bodies orbiting.
No, but they're lined up to shit in the lunar
lunar
area.
The question here is whether this is a deliberate creation.
Yeah.
Now,
hang on, I've got more coincidences.
Okay.
There are 109.2 Earth diameters across the Sun's diameter. There are 109.2 Sun diameters between the Earth and the Sun. When the Earth is at its furthest from the Sun, the circumference of the Moon measures 109.20 kilometers. 109.2 comes up a lot. Again, that's all pretty arbitrary. It's kind of confusing. This is from I don't know, moonmalarkey.com or something. The moon's polar circumference is 27.3, the size of the Earth's, which is the size of the Earth's polar circumference. The moon orbits the Earth every 27.3 Earth days and turns 109.20.8 kilometers at the equator every 27.3 days. These numbers just keep coming up.
They do.
It's not really clear what it means.
Well, look, I'm an atheist, but if I were to believe in God, I would not want to believe in like some nerdy god that was like, the numbers.
Yeah, but if you were like a computer programmer, for example, and you had to program something into
if it was just a simulation.
Well, no, but like, so the god or whoever was doing the intelligent designing, there would have to be some sort of computations in there to allow it to always keep going, right?
No, you just create it with magic.
You need to create
if you're doing it in a computer wherein nothing is real, yes, you've got to do it. You've got to program it.
Yeah. The other thing is that the moon orbits the way that the moon orbits. We only ever see one side of it because it's perfectly in sync somehow. Yeah. I don't understand that.
It's like when you film a helicopter at the right frame rate.
Yeah. Or when they throw a knuckleball in baseball. A knuckleball for you sports fans.
But you know how it's like the perfect size to like for the eclipse or whatever?
Yeah.
But it's like not really. It's not exactly right.
It's pretty close though. For that amount of distance.
It's about right.
Yeah.
But it's like this cup is the perfect size for me to cover up your noggin.
No, it isn't.
Well, no, not really. But I can't see your head when I hold it up.
What does that prove?
I'm just saying. It's the same if it was over here or over here.
No, that's fair. That's actually pretty fair. You're saying the tolerance for the moon to cover up the sun in an eclipse is probably hundreds of thousands of miles.
Yeah, it's about right.
If anyone that knows science better than us can explain the tolerance and like how much that would differ if the moon was, say, I don't know, a third of the distance either way. Get on it, science people.
Yeah, at ale of a time.
Why at me? Why not Hypothebot?
Oh yeah.
So this one lady I was reading was talking about the symmetry of the moon. It's really and all the symmetry and these numbers and stuff.
Isn't the moon famously not symmetrical?
Well, no, I don't know.
It's got craters all over it.
Yeah, but you can't.
If the craters were exactly the same on each side, I'd be like, oh.
No, I mean you got to allow for space debris. Space debris is that's got to be random.
Wait, so what's the point that it's if you take away all of the?
So she's saying if you add up all these coincidences and it's all like the symmetry of between the Earth and the Sun and the Moon and all these things.
Right. She's not saying if you take away all of the shapes on the moon is quite symmetrical.
No.
Okay, that's fine.
But she comes up to this one logical conclusion. Are you ready for the logical conclusion?
Yeah.
Hollow alien ship.
Whoa.
Driven here to check out what we're doing. Mm-hmm. Maybe to kick off life.
Yep.
And then just kind of monitor, like Big Brother, basically.
Who's driving the ship?
Well, the aliens.
Which aliens?
Well, if we knew that...
Have to be the reptile ones, yeah?
Yeah, it's the Anunnaki.
Probably the Anunnaki.
So basic.
The Nibiru comes up a lot in that theory as well. Nibiru's... the moon is there as a hologram to hide Nibiru when it comes past.
Which makes sense if you only ever see the one side of it.
Also makes sense if fucking the moon is relatively the same size as Nibiru is distance-wise.
Yeah.
Same as the sun.
Yeah.
Does that not suggest that Nibiru is as big as the sun?
What was the black sun? Remember the black sun came up one time?
Black hole sun.
No.
Banger.
Very good song, yep. Video clip always creeped me out.
Yep.
Ugh, creepy. No, like there's two suns. One is the black sun and the yellow one, and then maybe that one's Nibiru and the moon's the exact size to block it out at all times.
Yeah.
One of the evidences for that, of it being a hologram, is people watching like live telescope feeds, and it updates, and it looks like a wave going across the moon, because it's like a digital updating of the picture. And people like look at this wave across the moon. That's either huge energy or it proves it's a hologram. It's a digital telescope.
Yeah.
So
might be a cloud that just went by.
It's so obviously a digital.
Just randomly, do you want me to throw out some bloody Jewish gematria matches for moon?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Lamb of God.
Good one.
Hand of God.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on, I saw a great one.
Hand of God.
Golden Child. Baal Snake.
Uh-oh.
What's Baal Snake?
Like, Baal, B-A-A-L.
No.
Lord of Hell.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Baal Snake.
But yeah,
talking about
one of his bloody snakes.
Obviously his fucking dinger.
Yeah.
Yeah, or, just a rental snake.
Or a rental snake. I saw a really good one, but I've lost it now. Bambi McBimbo.
So someone put in Bambi McBimbo into Jewish gematria.
Yep, 170.
That's... I would love to know who that was. Like, I feel like their purposes for looking up Jewish gematria align with our purposes somehow.
There was one more. Hang on, let me see if I can quickly find it. About light. No, it was Dying Flame. Which kind of...
It's not what you want in a moon.
No, but might suggest while it's getting dimmer. Losing its brightness. It's a dying flame.
I will note that Bambi McBimbo's tweets on Twitter protected.
Oh.
How deep does this go?
What is she hiding? Also, Flow Rider.
Oh, really?
Hey.
As in the proper...
Yeah, Florida.
Yeah.
Also Florida.
Yeah. I always get a little surprise, like for maybe a good 3 years, going, oh, Flow Rider, like Florida, because he's from Florida. And then it's only probably in the last year that I've just managed to keep that bit of information in my head, and I'm not surprised by it anymore.
Just three more quickly.
He's
I am Hamas.
Oh.
Save that for when Solly runs for president.
FBI agent.
That's good.
And I hate him. Whew.
Also, if you Google Bambi McBimbo, you get some Gilmore Girl stuff. So maybe they use that phrase in Gilmore Girls one time.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And we know that they're famous for talking fast,
Yeah.
aka in tongues, aka demonically.
Yep.
Do you have anything more about the moon, Robbo? Or is it all Bambi McBimbo?
Yeah, I've kind of got sidetracked here. I did watch, there's a blood moon happening on January 20 and the 21st, 2019. A super blood moon. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to say there was one coming up.
No, happened already.
Yeah, we got a whole bunch in a row.
Yeah. And this person says, I'm going to read out what they said. A super blood moon eclipse coincides with the wolf moon. Pray for the protection of everyone who belongs to Yeshua. If you are on the path of the eclipse, anoint your homes before the eclipse and cover your windows with something, even unused garbage bags if necessary.
Oh.
Don't get a used garbage bag.
No.
Make sure it's unused. You can get trash all over your house. Yuck. Closing your blinds and curtains, if you have them, would be enough, but don't take it for granted and don't look outside. If a blood/wolf moon is going to cause some sort of apocalyptic event, do more than close your bloody blinds.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to look outside.
Yeah. No, lock your doors.
Yeah, at least.
If it's body activated the hidden switch in all of the antifars.
Yeah.
And then they start going out for blood.
And I think that was the description for the YouTube video. And then the actual video, this is on Brighteon. It's getting so hard to search for stuff on YouTube now.
Which is good, I guess, for society, but bad for us.
Yeah, bad for us. They kept on it was almost like they were trying to make out they were doing like an Islamic language or something. They were going, yakada, 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 ya, yakada, yakada. Stay inside, January 20, yakada, yakada, yakada. What are you trying to do? It was really bizarre. And they were just saying yakada, yakada. I've written down here, yakada, yakada. Because that's all they were saying, but they were chanting it like it was a thing. Yakada, yakada.
Are they trying to start their own waka waka?
Also, we're saying yakada, yakada now. It's a thing. Tell everyone when you're telling them to stay inside. We're going to take a break?
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. It's agreed. All right. Salty, what have you got for us about the moon, mate?
So I had a bit of a look into my old bloody pet enjoying things. What do you call that?
Faves?
My old faves, which is the bloody Nazi UFO man.
Mm-hmm.
You love a Nazi UFO man.
So this is all of this stuff has come up again. Did you find that everything you looked up was from articles within the last few days?
No.
Heaps of stuff that I found was Nazi UFOs in the moon. It was 2 days ago. But there's a Bulgarian researcher called Vladimir Terziski, who's over the years has written a lot of books. There's a lot of DVDs you can buy on Amazon that are listed but don't have any prices with really dodgy covers. But he's an engineer and a physicist, and he reckons that the Germans developed a space program during World War II with the Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of
teamed up,
built their own. Yeah, they teamed up and built a space program.
Fuck, if there's anyone you don't want teaming up on a space program, if they want to do it nefariously,
yeah,
those two.
World War II, Germany and Japan.
Yeah.
So they reckon that General Hans Kammler, the SS bloke, he oversaw the rocket program. They were behind it. So they allude a lot to the fact that this guy says he has proof, but then they don't actually outline what his proof is or mention anything about his proof. But they reckon that it all ties into the Nazis went to South America and Antarctica and all that. That's all very much tied in. And the rise in the UFO sightings from the 40s were the Nazi experimental things. So he says the Germans landed on the moon as early as probably 1942.
Okay.
Utilizing their larger exo-atmospheric rocket sources of the Methe and Shriver type.
Why didn't the Nazis tell anyone, do you think?
Well, you can't set up a secret base on the moon and then go telling everyone.
That's fair.
Because they built it on the other side, the far side. Fucking, if they were going to make it overt, just do it right there.
For propaganda reasons.
Right on the bloody nose of the face.
For propaganda reasons, though, you'd be like, you can't even get us on Earth and you can't get us on the moon either.
Yeah.
Look at us.
Maybe they ran into some problems. But the Nazis were really into space.
Yep.
And von Braun, who was the famous rocketman, he was all about space. And there was a quote that I saw related to him that was saying that his V2 rockets, which were like the ones that they bombed England with, which I didn't realise the V stands for vengeance. I hadn't come across that before.
Right.
Vengeance Weapon 2 is the official, like the full name of the V2 rockets.
That's pretty cool.
For it's a cool name, but
machine. I don't want to.
Yeah. But he was cited as saying at one point that his V2 rockets were a success. They were just landing on the wrong planet.
Oh.
He obviously had big ideas that these were going to take us into space.
Yeah.
And this guy reckons they did take them to space.
No, you can't do vengeance on the moon.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming he wasn't in charge of naming them. It's like, I'm building these great rockets that can take us... Vengeance Weapon! But they're for space exploration. Vengeance! We're going to shoot them at England. So I saw a couple of fun quotes from some internet users on a couple of articles.
Go for it. Yeah, let us hear them.
I didn't write their usernames down, so sorry I can't attribute them to their original people.
Do you want to make up a username after each quote?
Let's hear these quotes.
Von Braun was always aiming for the moon, but sometimes his rockets landed in London.
Joey Star Sign 4, that was.
Okay. And this one, which I thought was pretty good. Nazis did send a man to the moon. The Americans.
That's actually quite good.
Yeah.
Clever Commenter 5, that one.
That's his name?
Yeah. I can only think numbers go up.
Anyway.
It's a good name. Clever Commenter 5.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Thanks.
Good bit.
Yeah.
So he reckons that...
Definitely, it was good to have the funny thing and then sort of contrast it with your bit as well.
That was Dickhead 69.
Fucking sick burn. He reckons that the Germans, so they landed on the moon as early as 42, and since their first day of landing on the moon, they started boring and tunneling under the surface. And by the end of the war, there was a small Nazi research base on the moon.
Cool.
So I saw a lot of other people referencing that also the Chinese apparently had a base on the moon, and also the Americans had a base on the moon. I don't know whether they're all attributing the same apparent base on the moon to all the same people. But definitely something on the moon. Base.
Does it say what they were using the base for?
No. I guess trying to establish a military thing. Oh, they were also... Yeah, sorry. Actually, cut that. Yeah. The Nazis... well, they were teaming up with the bloody Anunnaki, weren't they? The reptilians. The Nazis and the reptilians were... Yeah. They had to build a base on the moon so that they could fucking communicate and interact with the reptiles.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Can't do that on Earth. Everyone will see them coming.
Yeah.
But no one can see them fucking just popping into the back of the moon.
Yeah, especially
you can't see it. It's on the other side.
There was a few stories, again from like the last few weeks of photos from the dark side of the moon where they're like, look at all the buildings.
Yeah. Also, just pulling you up there because heaps of internet nerds were pulling up other internet nerds. It's the far side of the moon.
What's the dark side of the moon then?
Pink Floyd album.
Pink Floyd album, yeah.
Is the far side of the moon not dark?
I think it's okay to call it
that. And then, actually, someone else said that, and someone goes, actually, all of the moon is dark.
Oh, that's stupid.
Yep, that was douchebag 75.
Dark side of the moon does sound better. I guess that's why they called the music thing that.
I think because far side of the moon sounds comical because of Far Side now.
Yeah, probably.
Dark side sounds cool because of Pink Floyd.
But anyway, there was all these photos of the far side of the moon. They're like, look at all the shadowy buildings. Or shadows.
Or shadows, yeah.
So I did watch a lot of footage of people looking for buildings on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
One that I really enjoyed, I think his name's Alien Hunter on YouTube, all one word. And he just seems to stream maybe hour-long things of him scanning through all the photos, a lot of the new Dark Side of the Moon ones, Far Side, sorry, while music's playing.
Right.
So video,
was that chilled out reggae video you sent through today?
Video number 4914.75. While he's scanning the moon for bases, he's playing the album Rastaman Vibration by Bob Marley.
Right. Just
one of Bob Marley's finest works. Pretty good time. I just put it on the background.
How many views does that video have?
Quite a few.
Oh,
he racks up like 4,000 views in some of these.
What's the?
But if you just put it on your TV, you get some
moonscapes
and some nice reggae. It's actually pretty good. But then I was like, I don't know what we're actually looking at. And then you go into the comments, like, oh my god, did you see that one at around 5 minutes? No.
I saw a photo of a tank.
Oh yeah.
Apparently, there's a tank on the moon. Which, the Nazis probably took up a couple of tanks with them.
You got to take a tank.
You got to have a tank. How are you supposed to protect your bloody war ground without a tank?
Yeah. It's a Seinfeld bit. About just going to the moon and taking a car and driving around.
Right.
Nazis just took a tank.
Tank. So it's like a square rock that looks like it has a round rock with like a pointy bit at one end, kind of like the top of a tank, like the turret. And there is actually a weird shadow you can see on the side. So there's like the solid shadow, but then you can see the shadow of something that would be like this, like a curve.
Okay.
Or like a half circle. I mean, you could think like maybe a rock would erode, a hole would erode through a bit of rock to cast that kind of shadow. But is there much erosion on the moon?
It's just getting blasted by
solar winds.
Not winds, I think just by meteorites and stuff.
Yeah, things are always getting knocked around.
But because the footprints are still there, because of the density of the soil,
and the
but I think
zerity of the gravity, the vacuumicity of space.
But I think if a good solid meteorite
smashed a rock, put a hole through it. Yeah, but it does look weird. It looks like it could be a thing that you would have tied something onto, like a hitch.
A hitch for your tank?
Yeah, tank hitch.
Yeah.
If your tank needed to tow something, you would tie it to your tank hitch.
Okay.
You got to tie your donkey up to your tank.
Yeah.
He also was mentioned.
Tie your donkey up?
Yeah. That's what you hitch.
Okay.
What are you hitching? Look at old Robert here. I'm hitching mighty stallions when I'm doing hitches. Oh, you're a donkey hitcher if I've ever seen one.
All right, no, fair enough. Ass. You're an ass. Donkey gear.
So he also wrote that Germans landed on the moon 42, established their underground base. The Russians and Americans secretly landed on the moon in the 50s. They stayed at this still operating base. So the Nazis built a base, and then the Russians and the Americans went there a decade later and stayed at that base.
And just hung out together.
They all just hung out together.
Fritz, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Is this like
Sergey? Long time.
So we had the catastrophic view of history. Is this like just the slash-fic view of history, where like all of the enemies, like Harry Potter and fucking Draco Malfoy, are making out?
I would say they were making out on the moon. Probably a little bit of a make out, though.
You would, though.
Yeah.
Is there anything more romantic than seeing that bloody beautiful Earth up above you?
Yeah.
No, that's fair. That great blue marble.
Yeah.
That's what they all say, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Nothing like it.
So, so in the 50s they went to the base, and according to this guy, there's atmosphere, water, and vegetation on the moon, which NASA conceals to exclude the third world from moon exploration.
The third world doesn't want to go to the moon.
If there was bloody food there, they would.
There's food on Earth.
Not enough.
Yeah, there is enough. No, there is famously enough.
Yeah, there's way too much food on Earth.
That's not what the TV tells me.
That's exactly what the TV tells you.
No, there's enough. It's just not distributed properly.
Yeah. Trickle down doesn't work.
No.
So that's also like third world don't have the facilities to build a rocket. Yeah, but I guess if you could have done it in the 40s, NASA were pretending it's so hard. Oh, look, we've got to have all these nerds in here to make it.
Yeah.
third world countries like, we don't have all these nerds.
Yeah.
We'll never do it.
So in the 60s...
But if they were like, but there is a lot of food up there, maybe they'd driven their will to succeed and they would have fucking found some nerds.
When we went up in the 60s, we were doing like computers that are as powerful as a calculator today, right?
Yeah.
So how like dodgy were the computers they were doing this on in the 40s? Just doing it on abacus.
Wait, dodgy... Oh, as in the ones they were doing...
Yeah. It's like half a calculator.
Yeah.
They're right as long as they didn't need to divide anything.
Maybe they were just fucking so good at building rockets they didn't need computers.
Yeah, like the Nazis did it eventually, as the commenter on the forum pointed out. So, maybe they just did it in the 40s and didn't tell anyone.
I also just come across... This is more the Nazi Antarctic tie, but also with UFOs. There was a book written by a Chilean diplomat and Nazi sympathizer who said that Hitler was an avatar of Vishnu.
Okay.
I hadn't come across that before. And was at that time communing with Hyperborean gods in an underground Antarctic base in New Swabia.
Where's New Swabia?
Antarctica.
Okay.
I think that's what they named it.
Savitri Devi?
It's Miguel Serrano.
We talked about him.
Did we?
On one of our Nazi episodes.
One of our Nazi... Maybe we should dial back on the amount of Nazi episodes we have if we have to say one of.
The Nazis do way too many weird things like get super obsessed with space or Atlantis and send exhibitions.
Yeah.
Like, they're bloody... Yeah.
So the other thing that this Vladimir Tzisky was named in was in relation to a guy called Richard Hoagland, who was one of their supporters, and military futurist Mike Sparks, who in a 2001 documentary said that Ian Fleming, who was part of MI6 before he wrote books about it.
Yep. At which point he was still probably part of MI6.
Yeah. He said Ian Fleming, he was aware and deeply involved in combating Nazi anti-gravity craft. South American exile Operation Paperclip, Scientist Duplicity, and about Moonraker, the James Bond, which was about the moon, weapons.
Yeah,
moon.
so that one is famously bad, right?
You know what? It's got the best ending. It's the one with Jaws in it, or one of the ones with Jaws in it. It's got the best fucking James Bond ending where he puts his little video monitor on and bloody Q or whatever his name is, or M is there with Q going, Bond, what's happening? What's happening? And for some reason, James Bond is in this spaceship with a hot chick. And he goes something like, "I'll talk to you later, boys." And he turns the thing off and starts to make out with the girl. And you hear Q and M talking, and they're like, "What's he doing? What's he doing?" And he goes, "So, I think he's attempting re-entry." Classic Bond. But yeah, Ian Fleming apparently was warning us in his books. The book that this guy wrote is called James Bond is Real, the untold story of political and military technological threats Ian Fleming warned us about. I actually wouldn't mind getting that book. It sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
I've kind of always wanted to see Moonraker because, that great re-entry gag at the end.
Last bit. It's worth sitting through it for.
But I don't really like James Bond movies. But
Right.
I've heard that one's like just crazy and stupid and ridiculous, so I kind of think I'd get into that.
You don't like James Bond movies?
Nah, not really.
Not the old ones? The old ones are pretty cool when he's all suave and shit.
Ugh, especially not the old ones.
The new ones are a bit...
I just assume you're a massive James Bond fan based on the way you carry yourself. With such suaveness.
I am very suave.
And misogyny.
And he carries around that license to kill.
I do have a license to kill. That is just my suaveness. It's the same thing. Yeah. But I do like my martinis stirred and not shaken.
Fair enough.
Sure. Fucking the anti-Bond.
Yeah.
So, the moon. Do we have more?
Oh, yeah, I've got a little bit more.
Yeah, I've got another thing.
All right. Let's hear Salty's thing.
So I come across a guy, a Chinese astrophysicist called Dr. Kang Mao Pang.
Yep.
Kind of sounds like a made-up Chinese name, but... so he said that America's Apollo 11 lunar module had a remote camera on it that I guess was operated from Houston. And they took a photo of a human skeleton on the moon. And also photos of human bare footprints. Like someone walking around on the moon with no shoes on.
Okay. I think you mean like human bear hybrids.
No. No bearman. So he claimed that he got his things from an unimpeachable US source.
Sounds like Donald Trump.
Oh! He also says that the Apollo 11 astronauts and crew didn't know about these photos. They were taken secretly by the government.
When you first said that before we recorded, I thought that you meant that they'd taken the photos but didn't realise the skeleton was there, like in 3 Men,
right.
like in 3 Men and a Little Lady or whatever it is.
There's the ghost behind the background.
It's like a moon ghost.
So he is quoted as saying, the Americans have conspired in a cover-up of monumental and possibly even criminal proportions. He continued to tell newsmen they hid photos of bare human footprints on the moon for 20 years and managed to keep the human skeleton secret even longer. The implications of what they found up there are staggering. But the Americans apparently feel that nobody else in the world is privileged enough to share the information. I've got a little photo of the skeleton.
What logic is behind someone being on the moon and not wearing shoes? Well, and then, like seeing something that looks like they're going, well, that's definitely the big conclusion. Because I don't think you could last very long on the moon with no shoes.
Well, if you could, then everything the Americans told us about the moon is not true.
Yeah, but I mean, people don't wear people wear shoes all the time.
That's apparently the photo.
What the fuck?
Other than in New Zealand, if you're doing anything, you're wearing shoes.
People don't.
Oh, that looks a lot like a skeleton on the moon.
Robbo, I don't want to...
Wearing jeans.
Yeah. Got his Levi's on.
I don't want to burst your bubble of New Zealand exceptionalism, but people don't wear shoes everywhere.
No, but New Zealand is... I guess in
New
terms
Zealand
of,
is famously so chilled.
No, it's just...
We hate shoes.
In Western countries, New Zealand is known for not wearing shoes.
People all around the world are known for not wearing shoes, including in other Western countries. Appalachian mountain folk, for example.
No, I think they wear... they actually have like sandals they wear.
Whatever, like the hillbilly stereotype of the shoeless person. There's people without shoes all over the place. Why wouldn't they be on the moon?
Because...
And why are you so Western-centric that you forget to imagine that these footprints are from some Western person?
I wasn't saying that at all.
You're forgetting the fact that NASA's covering up that there is gravity and air and atmosphere and...
So someone's just gone to the moon. They've put on Rastaman Vibration by Bob Marley.
Yep.
Seminal album. And just like...
Had to stroll around in their blue jeans.
And just popping these babies off. Let these piggies fly out here on the moon.
It's like the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, fair point.
You wear shoes at the beach. In fact, it is like the beach. It's all sand and stuff.
Yeah. If you like took off...
Good view of the ocean.
If you're on another planet and the Earth's up here... If you're on another planet and the Earth's up here and you take off in your little rocket ship and you land in the middle of the Simpson Desert and you go, fucking hell, there's nothing here. Look at it. It's fucked.
Yeah.
We're going to die if we stay here. We need protection all over our bodies. We need to stay out of the fucking elements.
Yeah.
And then you took off back to your planet, but you didn't travel a few thousand kilometres, to the east and come across bloody Sydney. You'd think Australia and the Earth was fucked. If that's all you knew of it.
Yeah. Sorry,
all we know of the moon is that little bit.
Oh God, I'm so confused.
So if you rock up on the moon and you go, oh shit.
So you got to the moon.
I'll take my shoes off for a bit. Yeah. It's like a beach. The moon's like a beach.
A central part of your story was layering in lots of clothes and avoiding the elements to prove that people don't.
No, but that's that would be your impression of here. They got to the moon and they were like, it's all sandy. Let's bloody kick the shoes off and have to run around on the moon. On the moon beach.
Sandier than the desert in your story.
Yeah, well, the desert's harsh, isn't it? And hot and sunny.
Yeah, the moon's nice and chill.
The moon's cold.
Okay, fair play.
Get up there, you go, oh, it's nice and cool here. Let's kick my shoes off.
Also,
I'll leave my jeans on, though.
If you've been on a massive intergalactic trip, your feet all swelled up a bit. You want to get your shoes off.
Kick your boots off, mate. Run the... You know that thing where you're supposed to, when you get somewhere new, you're supposed to fucking ground yourself with the earth Feel it between your toes.
Yeah.
Imagine the sun gazing you could do from the moon.
So,
Oh,
Robbo.
I got some more.
Okay.
I found a video of a guy who was zooming in on the moon with a camera.
Moon zoom.
Getting pretty close. Bird flies in front of the camera. He just loses his shit. It's like, how did a bird get us so high? There's no way. But like, it's clearly in proportion to...
Yeah, it's a little bird flies across.
Maybe 100 metres away from where he is. Little bird.
He doesn't make any reference to the power lines that are in front of the moon while he's zooming in on it as well.
Yeah. That was a good one.
Why is the bird that high?
And Jonesy, I got some Buzz Aldrin gear. Apparently he's mates with Buzz Aldrin, where he was.
Oh, that's weird.
And Buzz Aldrin was telling him that there was lakes under the surface of the moon. And then the Indian government sent up a few probes. They sent something up to smash into it and then collect all the dust. And then they worked out that there might have been some...
Sorry, I thought we had enough dust.
I thought we never went back.
Anyway.
And they worked out, there might be some water quite far under the surface. And Jones is like, I was right! Yesterday's news today!
It seems like famously something Buzz Aldrin wouldn't say.
It's also something you can't say after the fact.
Yeah.
But Buzz Aldrin said some cool stuff in the last little while.
Has he?
Yeah, he talked about monoliths on like one of Mars's moons and stuff like that.
Did he actually
But he's
say
never
that?
been to Mars.
No, but he knows.
He's allowed to be cooked about places he's not been. But isn't Buzz Aldrin the one who's out there decking seas?
Yeah.
When they're like, oh, you never went to the moon? He's like, I'll show you.
Click.
The Phobos Monolith. It's got its own wiki page. It's not that secret at this point.
Yeah, well, that's the thing they took photos of. It's a weird outcropping of rock on that moon that casts a long shadow, so it looks like a monolith. But I think Aldrin was like,
Did Buzz Aldrin have some opinions on that?
There.
Buzz Aldrin has spoken about the Phobos Monolith and his support of a mission to Phobos.
But does he just want to check out the monolith?
It sounds like it.
That's fine.
It's on C-SPAN.
Yeah, but he wants to check it out because he thinks it's an alien thing.
It's on C-SPAN, so it's probably not going to get that cooked. It's just a little YouTube thing. I'm not going to watch it.
All right. 50 years of the moon.
It's done a good job.
Yeah.
Without the moon, we wouldn't be... Oh, you're gonna snap your...
Suspenders?
Yeah.
No, ow. Right on me nips.
Without the moon, we wouldn't be alive. The tides.
Tides are important.
Yeah. Bloody phases of the moon for my emotions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Werewolves would have a really bizarre experience. They wouldn't know when to wolf out. They'd have all their wolf juice just built up for millennia.
Speaking of werewolves, when I was coming across this thing, there was an article about Nazi werewolf troops.
Yeah.
And all the imagery they used on the article was werewolves. But they kind of didn't make it sound like... It didn't seem like a cooked thing, like the Nazis said they had werewolves. That's just what they named...
Their troops.
Some specific commandos that would go in and fucking...
just a good name for a unit.
I don't want to say blitzkrieg, but they would go in and hammer some shit and get stuff done. I think it was a werewolf troop of Nazis freed Mussolini at one point or something like that. That's just what they called that specific battalion of guys. And I was like, don't sell me out that this is going to be a great thing about Nazi werewolves if it's not.
No.
What was the British werewolf movie?
American Werewolf in London?
No, the one about the soldiers. Dog soldiers?
Dog soldiers?
That was good, wasn't it?
Good movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, Robbo, if people want to find you.
You can get me at Ale of a Time for beer stuff, and you can get me on Insta at Eats and Drinks with Z's, and YouTube. We don't have a custom URL, so search Eats and Drinks, go through maybe 2 pages, and then you'll find us somewhere in those 2 pages.
Yeah. Make sure you sub so they can get that custom URL.
Yeah, we're very close. We're like 65. We're not gone viral just yet.
No.
We'll get there though.
Bloody good videos though.
Check it out though. And Salty's saying they're good videos. He's made them.
Yeah.
I have no dog in the fight. I'll say they are good videos.
Thanks, Cam.
They're well done. Salty, where can they find you?
You can get me at Saltmarsh on Instagram and Twitter, and just Saltmarsh Illustration on Facebook. Eats and Drinks with Robbo for some cool recipes, and Toehider. Check Toehider out.
And you can find me at Sex and Hummer on Twitter. Gather Around Me on Facebook and Apple Podcasts or whatever it's called. my other podcast, where very shortly you'll be able to hear our recap of Annabelle Comes Home.
Ooh, what's that?
It's a spooky movie about a doll. Bad doll.
Moves back into the house, eh?
It doesn't actually come home in the movie. They just bring it to their home, which I guess it then lives there. So it's, in a sense, it's coming home.
I guess it depends when.
In another sense, its real home is hell.
When it becomes home or when it doesn't become home.
Yeah. Well, you can hear all about it in the podcast.
Check it out, guys.
Yeah, look forward to it.
Bye.
Bye.
See yous.
Don't worry about a thing, except if all our world leaders are alien reptilians. I said don't worry about a thing, except maybe the fluoride in our water supply contains mind-altering drugs. Don't worry about a thing, except whether or not Port Arthur was a false flag operation in which to disarm Australia. I said don't worry about a thing. I accept you can definitely hear John Lennon say I buried Paul at the end of Strawberry Fields Forever. Ooh, don't worry about a thing, except not only did Bush do 9/11, but he also keeps the planes out in Area 51, which, let's not forget where all of the aliens are. Don't worry about a thing, except Donald Trump is clearly a woman and you're just blind if you can't see that. Why don't you